Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will discuss the situation in Bakhmut, but as many times before, not from an article that deals with Bakhmut. I noticed that on this Ukraine war, if there is an update on a certain incident or a location or something, and you read the article that is supposed to give you the information on that particular event, you will find information, but then the real information or extra or more important information, you might find it provided in other articles, sometimes unrelated to that event. And those articles could be coming out in the same day. For instance, if I want to tell you what the situation is in Bakhmut, I tell you in Bakhmut it's all clear, all nice, we're doing fine, perfect. And then I read another article regarding some other incident, and I find over there that the situation in Bakhmut is not that right. In Bakhmut, this happened, but it's not meant to tell you about Bakhmut. This article is meant to tell you about something else, but tells you a little bit about the Bakhmut, which is going to be something extra that will be in opposition to whatever they reported to you. In this case, I have this article coming from Reuters, and they do it the same way, the free mass media in the West and the Ukrainian mass media. The Russians are keeping their mouths shut. These guys, at least from what I could see right now. And this article comes from Reuters. Let's get it here. And it's talking about Ukraine troops prepare for threat of Russia capturing Bakhmut. So just the fact they are talking about this capturing and the threat, that tells me from previous experience with news and people in general, this is, and under this kind of circumstances, the Bakhmut is already, like, you talk about the threat and capturing Bakhmut, it's already there. But hey, until they say it's done, it's not done, right? So this article comes from February 19th, 2023. Ukrainian troops conducting weekend exercises near the small town of Siversk. So the article actually is about Siversk, but they're going to talk about Siversk, and I'm going to find out if Bakhmut will fall. So if they talk about if they occupy Bakhmut, now is a possibility. We're already there. These guys are a week behind whatever happens. So if probably Bakhmut is already decided that it's lost, but they start only now talking the possibility. Well, let's see what's going on in Siversk. Ukrainian troops conducting weekend exercises near the small town of Siversk in the country's east said they were preparing to defend one of the possible targets of a new Russian offensive. Okay, so let's see where Siversk is. Well, Siversk is here, and here is Bakhmut. So they are defending here, the Ukrainians, something that occurs here. And, remember, the Russians got Soledar, got Krasna Hora, and got here. So the Russians got all this, but somehow they didn't get that one. So these guys here in Siversk are afraid that the Russians could go and encircle them. But I say, if Bakhmut falls, if you remember, and if you don't, I tell you, these guys talked about Bakhmut of something very unimportant. Let's make it bigger, yeah? Unimportant. And they were all asking, why are the Russians concerned and are trying to get Bakhmut? It's such an unimportant, it's just a matter of pride. Well, this article that I have here will tell us otherwise. As always, you minimize your enemy's successes and you maximize their losses, and vice versa with you. You maximize your successes and you minimize your losses. I got to figure out that everything is a three times. So when the Russians are succeeding this much, you just divide it by 3 and you report it like this. If their losses are like this, you multiply by 3. The same for your forces. When you achieve this, multiply it by 3. When your losses are here, drop it, minimize it by 3. So let's go and see what else this article tells us here. But in the meantime, let's go and see where this occurs. This is a Ukrainian map. This comes from the Russians from the 19th of February. This is this kind of reddish, whatever this color is, brown. This is where the Russians' territory they captured, and the Russians call Bakhmut Artemovsk. So this is the Artemovsk. This is where the things occur, and Soledar is here, and the little town that these guys are talking about should be right here. So they are afraid, for good reason, the guys in Siversk, that the Russians will encircle them if they take Artemovsk, which is Bakhmut. But I don't know why that they just can't go like this. So they're talking about this situation here where they will be encircled. And then they talk about the importance of Artemovsk, which is Bakhmut. Let's see what the Russians say happens here in Berestovia. Russian air defense shot down a Ukrainian drone. Bakhmut, let's see. Fierce fighting is ongoing on the outskirts of the city and around here, so see if they are going to encircle them. As a result of active combat operations, forces of the Center Group destroyed Ukraine Air Force's troops and equipment using artillery, heavy flamethrowers, cisterns, and air strikes. All right, so now that we know everything about the location and what's going on here, let's get back to the article. So Siversk, which had a pre-war population of 10,000, is 35 kilometers, 21 miles north of Bakhmut, scene of fierce fighting in recent weeks, and on a direct road to another of the key towns of Donetsk region, Slovyansk. So we find out that Bakhmut is a direct road to another key town, the key towns of Donetsk region, Slovyansk. So all of a sudden it became important. Slovyansk is right here. So this is Bakhmut. If Bakhmut falls, they say, well, they're going to go straight to Slovyansk. Well, so it has an importance so far, we find out. It's not that symbolic win if they do. And I'm quoting here, if they occupied Bakhmut, then we would be semi-encircled, because on the left side we had the Siversky Donetsk river and the enemy will advance from the right, and it is possible to cut us off if they reach the Bakhmut highway, said the deputy Siversk battalion commander, who used the nom de guerre Han. So what they're talking about, these guys are breaking here, they're gonna come right up to us, which is very possible, isn't it? Ukrainian forces have appealed for more advanced weapons from Kiev's Western allies, from I would say from the center, because these guys, I consider them the center, because it's about them against Russia through Ukraine. So they just appealed from the center, from a center command, to help defend Bakhmut. Why? Which is being attacked by Russia's Wagner mercenary group, full of how do you call those, ex-convicts and ill-prepared drunks, according to you guys, but somehow they're winning. One soldier defending Siversk said their mostly Soviet-era artillery was outgunned by the enemy, which is also Soviet-era artillery, I must add. And I'm quoting, we have one artillery attack from our side, and the Russian can do it 5 times more. Oh, so now the Russians are more effective or something? Said 30-year-old Stefan. It's very difficult for the guys who are standing, especially at the first line of defense. They feel it too much. Capturing Bakhmut. Now, they give us how important Bakhmut is all of a sudden. That's very interesting. Capturing, this doesn't work because it's perfect. I'm going to leave it like this. Capturing Bakhmut would give Russian forces a stepping stone to advance on 2 bigger cities further west, Krematorsk and Slovyansk. Oh, so it's a stepping stone, so it has an advantage. But Ukraine and its allies say success there would be a largely Pyrrhic victory for Moscow, giving the time taken and losses sustained. Well, sometimes it takes longer to achieve some goals. So they're afraid this guy's going to get to Krematorsk and Slovyansk. So all of a sudden, this Bakhmut here, right here, becomes very important because it opens the road for these two towns here. So everything, not everything, but mostly what these guys were saying in previous articles about Bakhmut being unimportant. Now all of a sudden Bakhmut is important because they could be encircled, and then they have Krematorsk and Slovyansk. See, voila, another example, at least for me, that these guys are providing us with this kind of information. Remember, this article was not about necessarily Bakhmut. It was like a general, Bakhmut, yeah, but if Bakhmut falls, then we get encircled there. We do some maneuvers over there in the little town there of 10,000 people, pre-war town, and population, and so on. So yes, Bakhmut is important, and I knew it because these guys are defending it too fiercely. Even what's his name? Zelensky came over there. He gave all kind of medals, so they make it very important. Like Hitler. If you remember what Hitler did to, I think he was general at that time, Paulus in Stalingrad. He awarded him, he gave him the rank of field marshal while he was encircled, I think, in Stalingrad. And some say the reason why Hitler advanced, this guy gave him a little field marshal to Paulus, was to have him kill himself, because no German field marshal was ever surrendered or ever captured alive. So he, according to these guys, gave him that field marshal just to have him do the military whatever in case he is having no escape. But Paulus didn't do that, which infuriated a lot of people. But hey, that's how life is. So I guess when Zelensky came to Bakhmut and gave all those medals and all that, is like he's putting pressure on you, but which in this kind of circumstances obviously you have to. And well, Bakhmut is important, the way they defend it. But you would say, well, they defend everything in the same way. Well, good for them. It seems like, to me at least, the way they spoke about the Russians' fixation with Bakhmut really has some functional meaning and value. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.